What's happening, everybody? Zach here for another Christmas ornament tutorial. This is the second one that I'm working on for the series that I'm putting together. I'll be putting them all into a playlist. The playlist already includes a couple from last year and one Carmeline globe ornament that I posted yesterday. That ornament that you saw at the beginning was made with Mai Tai pink. It hadn't been struck out in the kiln yet, so it's still rather transparent or translucent. It'll strike to a bit of a pinker, more vibrant color as it sits in the kiln. But at the moment, I'm going to be working on a different ornament in a very, very close to the same shape. The ornament that I am working on right now, I brought to a craft fair the very next day and managed to sell it almost immediately. It was one of my favorite shapes, so I wanted to share it anyways, even though my live stream that I was filming when I did this work actually got cut off right before I put the loop on the top. So at the very end, I'll be switching to another ornament and just kind of sharing quickly how I did the loop. But you can also check the playlist for any of those other ornaments that I did where that part is still in there complete. But this ornament is more important for the shaping of the hollow form, because that hollow cone kind of shape that's one upright and one kind of flipped upside down, so that kind of diamond form gets made by the two cones. I really like it, and I wanted to share the process. So like I said, this one I'm going to start with Mai Tai pink, just like the ornament that you saw right in the intro, and then I'll do 2 lines with that and switch to purple luster. The 2 different colors, both strikers, look really great together, and I'll be making more ornaments in this color scheme. But right now, just laying that first line down, I'll switch to the opposite side and try and go exactly opposite that one so that the 2 lines kind of divide the tube in half. And then for the 3rd line, just lining it up in between those first 2 lines as best I can. This is my favorite way to kind of space things. I start with one thing on one side and do it on the other after that. I do it with implosions, drawing lines. It's easiest to kind of judge exactly where to lay things down in that respect. So now I doubled the speed up because you don't need to necessarily watch me lay 4 lines at regular pace. But the whole process, I'm really just heating the end of the rod, barely heating the tube, and I'm moving the blank through the flame outwards and kind of trying to keep the rod in the same place at all times. And there you can see, quartered that fairly well, and the purple luster's already kind of darkening up. I really like the contrasting colors on this one. So now the next part of the process is really getting some heat into this thing, melting in the lines a bit, puffing it out, and twisting everything up. So as you can see, I just picked up a rod. That's a solid rod, probably about 9 mil. I have some 9 and 10 mil on the workbench, and usually my handles will either be one of those or one of the 10 mil blow tubes that I have on the other side. So just trying to stick that right in between all the lines, and then really just focusing the heat into the whole blank and twisting it up. Often when I'm twisting up a piece like this, all I'm doing is leading with one hand where I control the rotation and dragging my thumb on the opposite hand. And I'll still walk my fingers down because I don't want to stop that rod, but I am adding just a little bit of resistance with some pressure from my thumb, and that helps me get a nice twist. As you can see in the flame, if you're looking carefully, the twist is pretty much all done, at least most of the way around the midsection. Then I come out of the flame, pause for a little bit to let that heat kind of homogenize so things even out, and then give it a couple puffs. As you can see, my handle's bobbing a little bit. Having straight handles is really important, and I am going to spend some time to straighten that out so that I don't mess up the walls of the tube while I'm working it. But at the moment, I'm just focusing heat across the whole piece, really trying to melt in the lines a little bit more, probably continuing the twist a little bit. And now I'm kind of trying to make sure that the blank is rotating evenly with the blow tube first, and then I'll focus some heat on that other side to see there I go to move to that end, just to make sure that I can straighten that handle out before I start trying to puff out the top of the blank. If I tried to work the opposite end with that uneven handle attached, I would have really started to move glass from one side to the other and thinned one side of the tube and thickened the other. So straight handles is something to obsess on if you want to blow out even forms. As you can see, that bobbing's kind of gone away. Just kind of spending that time and letting that handle fall into position, maybe tugging a little bit. Often once you get a nice even heat base and pull, it can straighten out how your tubes are pointing at each other. There you can see the blank expand a little bit, and I think I'm pretty happy with that. So back to the blow tube end, and I'll spend a little bit more time heating up where I flame cut the rods away as I was drawing the lines down. There's always a little thick spot where you flame cut the rod away. You can pick that off, but I find for the pace of doing Christmas ornaments, which is a rather repetitive production process, just leaving them in and spending the time to twist it up and pull things out a little bit more is always good. So there, got the heat in, puffing it out, getting that ready to do the shaping of the hollow form. So we're kind of left with a bit of a kind of football shape at this point, and I'll be trying to puff out that midsection and then flatten out the curves on each side. So I do puff it out in a few steps, just trying to keep everything even. I know a lot of people have been talking about my lack of a didymium filter on the camera. I'm going to be trying to add filters to both my cameras. I did put my spare glasses over the camera the other day, and it was far too dark. I'll be needing to add some more light to my workbench for that, but I do have my didymium clip for the other camera that should be okay until I get something more effective figured out. But for now, you can still see what I'm doing. The process is not too much fine detail work, and not having the filter on the camera is kind of acceptable for now, at least during making these ornaments. So there we got another puff. Really got that heat all the way through the blank, and I'm trying to expand that piece now, really trying to get it closer to the final width. And I think I was pretty happy with where it was at that point, so we go in to start trying to heat the one end and form that hollow kind of cone shape. I know it was a little bit concave, so I puffed it out, try to get it a little bit more flat. And there we go, switching to the solid handle end to repeat that exact same step. And once I'm happy with the two sides, we'll start to focus on the middle. But we're really looking for a pair of even-sized cones, and I'm always trying to match my twist on each end. I find working on ornaments like this is a great time to practice like making an even twist. As you work each piece repetitively, it's a great chance to try to be precise. Even if you don't get it perfect, the piece is still worth the exact same amount on the table at a craft fair, in my opinion, but you have all this time to practice and make your line work perfect. I was a welder, and in school I did welds sometimes over and over for weeks just to get them just right. Even if you had them perfect, especially on the ones that took you a while, my teacher would have you do it again and again. And I've really brought that to my glass work, trying to repeat a step in a process until you're absolutely positive that you're going to do it just right every time is essential. Especially if you want to have fine shaped forms that really are repeatable. So now you see I'm starting to heat up that midsection. And I'm gonna get a bunch of heat into the tube and then kick down to the small flame and try and really get a little band hot. And I'll be using my hands to push this together a little bit. And this just kind of expands and sharpens that bend. I don't want to do that too much because I'm not trying to push a Maria. I'm just trying to make a nice even curve on the tube. Now we'll get into the L marver a little bit, just pressing on the back of the marver lightly, just to kind of crisp up that line. And repeat that on the other side. Yeah, it really turned out pretty well. I was happy with the shape. I'll have to make some more of these because I didn't even, like I said before, didn't even get a chance to take a picture of this. Just rushed off to a craft fair. Yeah, really happy with that even twist on this piece. Pretty even walls on each side. There you go, kind of heating that end point to pull it out a little bit. And I do end up keeping this piece on a solid handle until I've finished the bail on the top. I'm going to move on to popping a hole now so that I can have the piece closed off where the bail or loop on the top is going to go, but it doesn't seal the whole form closed. Sealing glass shut can be problematic. It's something you can do, but pieces often need longer annealing times, and it can be a very finicky process closing a tube up and not having the piece cooling and pulling that glass inwards as you seal it shut. So there I take my jacks and just kind of open that hole up and puff it out, trying to avoid it closing up. It was a rather small hole that I popped. Now I'll flame cut that handle off. And as I was saying at the beginning, the live stream actually dropped off right here. I went for another 20 minutes and did a second ornament that got cut off completely, but I will switch to another ornament and put a loop on that one just to put that in as part of the process video. So I'll be doing a variety of there we go, got that burning rubber on the workbench. Smelled pretty gross. I was not really happy about that. Yeah, here we go. Got a piece of 9 or 10 mil, depending on whichever I pick up. Stick that on the top of there, and I'll be pulling that out and forming the loop with that. But if you want to see a variety of Christmas ornament forms being made, I'll be working on a whole bunch and adding them to the playlist as I go. Make sure you comment, let me know what colors you want to see, any shapes that you'd like to see. Thanks for watching. Hope you check out the other ones. They'll be on the playlist soon. Have a good one.